Welcome to Executive Insights. I'm Nasheen Liu, partner with the IT Media Group, a CIO-centric media company. Today, I welcome back Paul Bellack, the retired global CIO with Magna International, and is currently an executive advisor with EY. In this episode, we discuss Paul's second act, his pursuit for developing the next gen of CIOs. Hi, Paul. It's really great to see you. Welcome back to Executive Insights.
Delighted to be here. Thank you.
Paul, since your retirement as the global CIO from Magna International last year, you've been quite busy training and developing the next generation of CIOs. Through your engagement with EY and on your own, you could have done anything you wanted. Why did you pick this path as a second act?
Well, I suppose it was a combination of opportunity and interest. After 45 years of a pretty productive career, I knew I had something useful and some experiences and perspectives to share. My first inclination was to target CIOs, but gradually it occurred to me that the largest and most impactful target would be actually the next generation, folks reporting to the CIO, one or two levels below the CIO. And I think three reasons why. First, just simple leverage. Every IT organization has one leader, but at least 5 or 10 folks, one or two levels down. So the potential market is so much bigger. Number two, it's my sense, my experience is that the next generation, that next level down, does all the heavy lifting in an IT shop. They're the kind of the indispensable link between the top strategy setting layer and the lower direct execution layer. And number three, perhaps most importantly, the key competencies that those folks need aren't technical, they're non-technical. The so-called soft executive competencies like influencing people, empowering teams, driving change management, dealing with the inevitable politics in an organization. And in my experience, few organizations have formal programs around those skills. Most use sort of an apprenticeship model where the less senior folks are expected to watch and learn from the more senior folks. So lots of opportunity. And in terms of interest, I've always enjoyed the process of mentoring on those soft skills. I've found that from doing decades of performance reviews that I had a lot of interest and a lot of passion about the topic.
I think the aspect of giving back is so rewarding. And
Right.
you're absolutely right about, those essential skills and, soft skills. We used to call them soft skills, but essentially they're actually power skills that people who are interested in getting to the next level up that must require. So, Paul, I know you're in high demand and you have lots to offer, but the reality is there's no shortage of leadership training programs out there. What makes you and your program unique?
Fair question. First of all, my program, for better or worse, is authored and delivered by me. So a guy who's been in the trenches for decades. I've been doing this sort of thing internally in this particular environment and context for a very long time. So I've collected a lot of content that I've applied over the years, and I animate that content with lots of war stories and personal anecdotes to enhance its relevance. The other thing that I think makes it unique is a pragmatic and what I call content-laden approach to mentoring based on the specific real-world experiences of the participants. So in each one of my sessions with a participant, we cover a particular topic or competency area. And then I send the participant away to do some self-reflection that applies that content to their specific work situation. And then at the next session, we discuss their self-reflection, and therein lies a very powerful mentoring opportunity based on my content applied to their particular work environment. So it's a good connection.
Absolutely. Having that real world experience and to pass on those learnings is incredibly useful, as well as giving them opportunities for practical knowledge sharing and with you. It's so important. And so last conversation we had, you mentioned that just in the span of 12 months, you've trained dozens and dozens of professionals. And so, first of all, who are they? Who are these people? And second of all, what value do they get from your program?
Well, I think I've done at least 50 folks now. I've been through my program, and there's about 10 in progress right now. They're mostly director level, some VP level folks on IT shops I've got some connection to. The feedback that I get is very positive. I think the value that they get is just based on some of the testimonials that I've collected from past participants are threefold. Number one, it's just an opportunity to learn and discuss topics and experiences one-on-one with somebody like myself, a senior leader who's again been in the trenches. Number two, there's a lot of content in here, so they get numerous new insights, dozens of tips and techniques on this long list of soft skills necessary for them to climb their respective career ladders. And third, as I mentioned, the curriculum is very well organized. It's quite rich, but I go out of my way to tailor the program and the curriculum to their specific needs. So we talk about things that are important to them, not just what I think are important to them. They're self-declared key topics that they tell me about, and I go away and prepare for them.
So the content itself and how practical it is to their day-to-day job. But I think more importantly is that face-to-face connection with you. And
Right.
that face-to-face connection with someone who's been in the industry, who's well respected and well connected, and that mentorship aspect is hugely valuable.
Right.
We live in an era of rapid change, and when I think about change, embracing change is difficult most of the times for a lot of people, and sustaining that change is even harder. So, how do you ensure that people graduating from these programs can not only apply but also sustain their learnings from the program? What is the measure of success?
One approach that I use to enhance my program's actionability and accountability is having the participant prepare a brief but specific 90-day action plan on how their executive behaviors are going to change as a result of taking the program. So number one, prepare the program. Number two, probably more importantly, having them share that plan with their boss who sponsored them for the program in the first place. So I think that's a good way to ensure that some learnings stick, and it brings both the participant and their boss in the loop to do so. So there's an accountability aspect to it. And I also follow up with each participant 3 months after we completed the program to see if the changes are sticking. And they seem to be.
Instilling accountability and having that cadence of regular check-ins, so important. And I know every time you and I have a conversation, and I sense how excited you are and how enthused you are about the opportunities. And there seems to be always a new market opportunity or a new client or new cohort starting. And I am just really happy and excited for you. But
Okay.
I can't, thank you, Paul. And I can't wrap up the conversation without tapping into your knowledge about a question, that will directly benefit our CIO community, having been in a CIO role for the better part of your career. So the role of CIO has evolved rapidly and will continue to evolve. What should the next gen CIOs be mindful of to increase their rate at success?
Well, certainly over the last 15, 20 years, the CIO role has evolved considerably. And in fact, one of the big topics in my program is exploring that evolution. And, obviously with the advent of digital transformation and data and analytics, and this year it's AI and, never ending cybersecurity considerations, the list goes on and on and on. The role of the CIO has ballooned because of the domains of technology management are now so numerous and so deep. And frankly, it's my perspective that a single executive can't possibly manage all that technology and do all the things that a modern CIO has to do to be an effective and strategic partner to the business. And in my view, it's that last bit, being the business partner, is really what drives the skill set of a modern CIO. And in my sense, it's not really technology. The key skills, and it's a very long list, but if I had to pick sort of 3 skills, they would be: number one, and clearly most importantly, just executive communication skills, just the ability to convey complex technology-oriented topics to many diverse stakeholder groups for their understanding and buy-in. Probably the key skill. Number 2, the ability to build and lead teams. All right, in this day and age, the ability to attract, retain, deploy, motivate IT people in what is now a multi-generation workforce. You've got the boomers and the Gen Zs and the millennials all kind of working together with completely different value sets. Most of them want to work from home. I mean, there's just such a complex scenario of just building and leading teams, which is, again, a key skill. And the third one, I'd call it adeptness at adaptability and certainly organizational change management. Right? Given the pace of change today, I think a CIO has to be world class in those capabilities. Right. So those are the top 3. You'll notice that technology prowess isn't in the list. Right. It's table stakes, and B, to reiterate my point, that the scope of technology under management is just so wide today that you've got to find a way to get others to kind of worry about that for you. I guess the chief technology officer, or however you choose to do it, because there's so many non-technical skills and competencies that a CIO has to bring to the table.
Very well said. All those 3 points really hit home with me, and I'm sure will resonate deeply with our CIO community. And especially my personal favorite is that communication piece. And recently I read a study that surveyed 1,000 senior technology leaders around the world. And the results are the odds for those who are excellent communicators, for them to be getting promoted to the next level is 3 times more than the ones who aren't.
Makes sense to me.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation, Paul. So every time I see you, I feel like I wanted to schedule another call and to have another conversation. So I appreciate your thoughtful content and great insights as always.
Well, it's my pleasure, and happy to continue our journey together.
Thank you, Paul. You've been watching another episode of Executive Insights. I'm Nasheen Liu with the IT Media Group. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out other content on our YouTube channel, including CIO Roundtable conversations, Leadership in Tech summits, and executive interviews. And don't forget to subscribe.